Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the night forum of today. Our issue for tonight is cigarette and vape, new norm for young people. First of all, I would like to introduce our panels for tonight. Our first panel is Mr. Muhammad Shafimi bin Muhammad Yazid, our President of Malaysian Youth Association. Welcome, Mr. Shafimi. Next is our specially invited panel, Principal Director Oral Health of Department of Ministry of Health, Dr. Kelvin Yoh. Welcome, Doctor. At the end of the corner, we have Inspector Muhammad Zulhairi bin Abdul Kadir, Jabatan Keselamatan Dalam Negeri dan Ketenteraman Awam KDNTA, Ibu Pejabat Polis Bukit Aman. Welcome to our forum for today, Inspector. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, cigarettes already known among our young people, but in this globalization era, we have been introduced to e-cigarette, or also known as vape or pod. This trend is strongly influenced among our young people nowadays. At the end of our forum, our panels will tell us the importance of one of SBG between these two issues. Before we go too deep, let we have an ice-breaking from our panels tonight. I have a question to ask to Mr. Shafimi. What is your opinion about addiction among young people? Please.
Thank you to Miss Moderator, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. And before that, I'm going to introduce myself first, which is my name is Muhammad Shafim bin Muhammad Yazid. I'm the President of Malaysian Youth Association 2022. To me, youth generation is a new based on my research before that, almost 60% of your generation that participate in smoking and vaping. This we have to avoid it by as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Shafimi, for your opinion. I think I agree with you, Mr. Shafimi. So next we go to Dr. Kelvin. Do you have any experience on handling cases about cigarettes or vape patient? Please.
So thank you for the moderator. So before I answer your questions, let me introduce myself. So my name is Dr. Kelvin Yeoh from Principal Directions, Department of Ministry of Health. So based on my experience just before this, I found that one man used a vape and the alternative to quit the smoking. So after 2 weeks of the vape, we have told him that his body had a fungus and was infected with a lung disease cancer. So from this we can see that the cigarettes and vape is very dangerous for our human body's health. So
All right, thank you, Dr. Kelvin. I think we need to spread to our youth to slowly stop this unhealthy habit. Next, our last panel.
Okay, so thank you to Miss AKIDAH. So before that, my name is Muhammad Zulhairi. My name is Inspector Muhammad Zulhairi from the Department of Internal Security and Public Order from Bukit Aman Police Headquarters. I have been heavily involved with criminal case involving cigarettes and vapes. So about the question, the case of cigarette and vapes in Malaysia, I think for me can be said to be critical because we get a lot of report about it. It's critical because I have been told vapes and cigarette are really start since school. Recently, we went to some secondary school and found a lot of cigarettes and vape belong to students when we conduct an inspection as the request of the school itself. This need to be opposed because if they are addicted at school, what about their life when they are over and try to live a more challenging life, adult life?
Thank you, Inspector, for your view just now. So let's our audience before we going too deep. For further detail about this topic, I would like to seek an information from our first panel, Mr. Shafimi. What are the causes of smoking and vaping among our youth? Pleasure.
Thank you to Miss Moderator. In my opinion, there are 4 causes that I like to share with you all audience about the causes smoking and vaping. The first is father bad behavior. This thing we should this thing happened because the father exposed to a smoker for a period a long time. Then the children from the early age will see their father as a role model. If this happen, if the children will always give always as a role model to their father. And my second point is trendy. Why this product become trendy is because there are a lot of sweet flavor. The price also become cheaper than cigarettes because this vaping there are no government tax. So the children almost like sweet flavor. So the children will try this vaping. And the third is peer by influence. The people or the children friends will give it and try to a new and try to edit it to it. And my last point is can get it anywhere. As we all know, nowadays restaurant they also provide vaping and smoking. So by provide in the restaurant, all the children that have eating in the restaurant will buy and try it. My second is an online page. There are a lot of media social nowadays, and in the social media nowadays, there are a lot of page that sell vaping. So all the youth generation will interest to buy it on the online pages. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Shafimi, for the good information just now. I would like to seek different information from our doctor. What are the effects if they continue this habit for a long term? Please, doctor.
So thank you for the moderator again. So I have 3 effects we'll discuss here. First is health, second environment, and third is economy. So first is health. So for the cigarette, that has a effect on the health of the body due to the harmful and chemical in cigarette smoke and vape. So cigarette smoke and vape can be endangers one health because the chemical released from cigarette and vape that can reduce function as well as damage our organ in our bodies. For example, for the nicotine is in the cigarettes and vaping can be addicted if you smoke cigarettes and vape repeatedly. So next is hardcore smoker will be suffer from stroke and mouth and lungs disease such as asthma because the smoking not only endangers their own health but also affect their health to those around them. In fact, 60 to 75% of cigarette smoke will be inhaled by non-smoker. Not only that, pregnant mothers will also experience adverse implementations for the unborn baby, such as giving birth to the premature babies and underweight baby. So the second effect is environment. So in additions to endangers one health, smoking and vaping can also be pollute the environment. Cigarette and smoke and vaping will also causes the air pollutions because in additions, in this environment will look dirty and will causes water pollution and other problems. For example, when the irrigation system is disrupted, the natural disasters will be occur such as the flash floods. So not only that, the smoking also will account for 25% of fire cases. This can be seen that those who smoke can be lack a sense of responsibility to throw away cigarette butts that are still burning everywhere. So the last effect is economy. So in addition, smoking and vaping will invest wasted. From the report, Malaysia spend 1.5 billion every year buying the cigarettes and vapes. The money earned should be invested in a better direction, such as we can use educations, food improvement for the family standard of living, improvement the national economy, and many more we can do. And smoking and vaping will also causes a person to lose focus in during the work, especially for those who are addicted and will reduce one work performance. So indirectly, this will reduce the productivity of the company and weakens the country economy status.
Thank you, Dr. Kelvin. I think we need to spread to our youth to slowly stop this unhealthy habit, isn't it? Next, our last panel, Inspector Zulhairi. What solutions can we come up with to deal with this case? Please, Inspector.
So, about the solution, there are three basic solutions. The first is parents. Parents are the closest one to the children. So parents need to play an important role. Why? Because children are easy exposed to social media. They are easily influenced and easy to get the cigarette and vape just by ordering on social media. So what parents need to do is to keep an eye on their children, like their spending, to prevent them from buying cigarette and vape. And for your information, police can arrest the parent who let their children involve this unmoral activity. So, and the second solution is limit the age limit. As all we know, we cannot block the desire of young people. It is impossible to ban cigarettes and vape. So we limit the age. For example, the law to anyone under the age that buy cigarette and vape. So the store that sell it will be fined or closed. And the last solution that we can do is exposing the danger of cigarette and vape. They are involved because they are influenced. So to stop that, we need to avoid the ideology of cigarette and vapes. It's not dangerous by giving exposure to them. For example, the police and the ADK have come to school to give exposure on cigarette and vape.
Thank you to Inspector Zulhairi. So our panelists have explained to us some information regarding to our topic. Again, our topic tonight is cigarette and vape, new norm for young people.
Over the last decade, new technology and suave marketing campaigns have led to an exponential increase in the popularity of vaping, which has been concerning to many health professionals. The numbers are staggering. In a 2019 survey for the United States, it was found that almost a third of 10th graders and half of youth aged 20 to 24 have either tried vaping or e-cigarettes.
So our last session, the relationship between our topic and of goals of SDG, which is good health and well-being. Before we go through, let me introduce what is SDG. The Sustainable Development Goals or Sustainable Development Goals consist of 17 goals put forward by the United Nations at the UN General Assembly in September 2015 in New York, USA, to be achieved by 2030 as an agenda for the development and welfare of human beings and the earth. So, the goals, one of the goals which good health and well-being. Good health is essential to sustainable development, and the 2030 agenda reflects the complexity and interconnectedness of the two. It takes into account widening economic and social inequalities, rapid urbanization, threats to the climate and the environment, the continuing burden of HIV and other infection diseases, and emerging challenges such as non-communicable disease. Universal health coverage will be integral to achieving SDG 3, ending poverty and reducing inequalities. Emerging global health priorities not explicitly included in the SDGs, including antimicrobial resistance, also demand action. So we ask our panel, what is the importance of SDG and our topic tonight? Let's start with our first panel again, Mr. Shafini, please.
Thank you to Ms. Moderator. To me, the importance of the SDG is we want to give youth generation to stay healthy in the future. in order to give Malaysia one of the country that no one have smoking and vaping in the future. Thank you.
So next, we have the point of view of Dr. Kelvin. Please.
So thank you, the moderators. So for the importance of SGS is we need SGS to as a benchmarking to all of the human being. So to make sure our world health issue can be better, so that the cancer cases will be decreased. Thank you.
So let's go to our last panel, Inspector Zulhairi.
So regarding the SGS, I think this prevention, the prevention is important because to prevent Malaysia from becoming a hardcore vape and cigarette addicted among the intake, especially among the youth. Uncontrolled intake of cigarette and vape allows health issue to become more serious in Malaysia, especially about cigarette and vapes. One of the things that Royal Malaysian Police have done is to stop cigarette smugglers. We think this is necessary because to prevent something, we need to prevent it from the beginning. In this way, the SDS can be achieved. There is healthy Malaysians, for example, have less heart disease, which is mostly caused by smoking.
Thank you to Mr. Shafimie, Dr. Kelvin, and Inspector Zulhairi for their view. As the conclusion, we have discussing about causes, effects, solution, and the importance of SDG to our topic tonight. Thank you to all our panels for attending and sharing knowledge and information and giving awareness towards our youth. I really hope that our audience will get something from this forum. So before I end our forum tonight, remember, cigarette and vape are really unhealthy habit we continue. Remember, youth, we are the new generation to conduct this country. That's all from us. Thank you.